We are live, but now I have to get us live on Instagram.
Yes,
Instagram.
ma'am.
All right, Instagram, let's go. It is not clicking on Instagram today. Oh, wait. Oh. Go live. I don't know if it is. I think it is. It. I think we did it. Yay, us.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Diane Rose Solomon, and I'm with What's Plant Based Cooking Good Looking. And I'm here today with my friend Joya Wesley. You want to say hello, Joya?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Diane. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Well, you have a wonderful company called The
Easy, breezy, whole foodie.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And we are going to be talking about that and your journey in a minute, but just want to share a little bit about why we're here in the first place. Joya and I are both part of a very cool vegan health bundle. And Joya did it last year and she really enjoyed it. And she said, "Why don't you come do this year?" So we're doing it together this year. We have two
Yeah.
different things that we're doing. Just
We're
a really
bundle
quick,
buddies.
we're bundle buddies.
Yes.
And we're just two of the contributors to the bundle. And just to let you know, because I didn't know what a bundle was before this, I think I'd seen them in other industries, but not in this. So I had no idea what it was. There's over 150 contributors to this bundle. And it's people who've contributed ebooks and recipes and cooking classes and exercise classes. And it's just, the list goes on. There's over 150 contributors. The value of all the contributions is over $8,000 now. So if you were to buy each one of those books or classes or whatnot, it would be cost you $8,000, and it's being offered for $49. $49.
Yay.
It's unbelievable.
It's the coolest thing.
It's the coolest thing. And honestly, before I looked at it, I was like, I don't know. But now that I've been cooking the recipes and doing the classes, I can I can say with a lot of conviction that what's in there is amazing because I've been cooking the recipes and taking the classes for the past couple of weeks, getting ready for this, and it's really amazing. So that's what we're doing. But what I want to do is introduce you to Joya because Joya is incredible. She has an amazing story about how she got to be the easy breezy whole foodie. And I'm going to just turn it over to you, Joy. I want you just let everybody know your story, your background, a little bit what you're doing.
Okay, thank you, Diane. I am so excited to be your bundled buddy and excited that you're having me on your lives. I am the easy breezy whole foodie. I eat a whole food plant based lifestyle, and I do it in a way that's easy, that's not complicated, that doesn't require cooking, doesn't require recipes, doesn't require any skill in the kitchen, any really anything. If you can read and follow directions, you can be an easy breezy whole foodie too. And before I became that, which was about 4 years ago when I adopted the whole food plant based lifestyle, I was a regular foodie, I would say. And since I like to use the acronym SAD for Standard American Diet, I was a sad foodie, not a whole foodie, a sad foodie. I was eating not just processed foods that are not whole foods, which is the opposite of whole foodie. I was also eating animal products.
Hmm.
I was down to a last few. I didn't do red meat. I meet a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't eat red meat," so that's good. The cows, thank you for that.
Hmm.
I was not eating dairy. I was allergic to cheese,
Hmm.
so that kind of put me ahead of the game, ahead of a lot of people who have trouble conceiving of a plant-based lifestyle
Right.
because they can't give up cheese. So I was already not eating cheese, so that was ahead of that. But butter, grass-fed butter, I thought was my salvation. I thought it was going to save me. The last two diet gurus in the sad world, the conventional diet world, were promoting
Butter.
butter. Yeah. And of course, I loved their diets. Those were the best diets ever. They
Yeah.
allowed butter, encouraged butter, even. One was butter and coffee, bulletproof. I don't know if people are familiar with
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but I thought it was the coolest thing. And I did lose 30 pounds, something like that. And then that bubble burst, as with most diets. I had been dieting since I was 11 years old. I
Wow.
first was diagnosed myself based on school pictures with obesity at 11 years old. And that's when I first started trying to be a size smaller, or at least a few sizes smaller than I was. And I went up and up and up from there. 44 years. Fast forward 44 years later, I had done 38 different diets. My weight had been up and down, up as high as 329
Oh
pounds.
my goodness. I
And
can't even
then,
imagine you're this big.
thank you. That people tell me that. And it's hard for me to conceptualize what has
Mhm,
happened, what has transpired.
mhm.
But for those most of those 44 years, or all of those 44 years, I was doing it the hard way. I was trying diets, which I now know do not work,
You don't work.
especially conventional diets. They just don't work. You might lose weight for a while, but you're going back up, and it's a zigzag, a yo-yo thing. So finally, I heard this information that all taking out all animal products and all processed food could give me a new lease on life. And that's what I did. So on December 31st, 2019,
Uh-huh.
I started this plan. I thought it was going to be temporary. I was going to do the rice diet for a while. I don't know if you're familiar with the rice diet. Dr. Kempner in the 50s at Duke University had this rice diet that was reversing hypertension back in the
Mhm.
days when there were not hypertension medications, and taking weight off of people who were struggling with obesity.
Okay.
So I found his diet, and I remember doing it for a while when I was younger, and I knew it would reset my taste buds. So
Mhm.
that was my hope, that I would just reset my taste buds, and then I don't know what I was going to do after that, but something else. So while I started doing it, no butter, no animal products, no processed food. It was basically fruit and rice.
Mhm.
My blood pressure dropped, my
Wow.
weight started dropping, my brain fog cleared up. I started feeling like a new person. And I started studying and reading and consuming information, like the information included in this vegan health bundle. And while I was doing that, I met one of our other bundle buddies, Plantiful Kiki.
Oh,
Found
yeah.
her on YouTube. I was looking for no oil recipes, and I found some from her. And she recommended the book, The Pleasure Trap,
Mhm.
and the book, The Starch Solution, Dr. John McDougall's
Yep.
Starch Solution. So I read both of those, and I found out that this temporary last ditch effort I was making, I had just gotten back over 200 pounds again after that minimal success with the butter plans. And I didn't know what was next for me. And I was probably this close to giving up. I know a lot of people my age have given up.
Giving up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was close to giving up. I found out this could be a lifestyle, and it changes people's lives, and it's magic and
Mhm.
it's easy, really, when you think about it. Once you get over the hurdle of no butter in your mind, it's really not hard. So I started it, and I decided to keep doing it. And within 6 months, I had dropped the 60 something pounds, and I was into a normal weight range for the first time in decades. And I was hooked. I was an evangelical promoter of this lifestyle. And then when I absorbed more deeply the ethical aspects of veganism,
Mhm.
I became a vegangelical, because
Yeah,
not
right.
only is this changing my life and my health, and I can see it doing for a lot of people like me, and hopefully for a lot of people in the future I will touch through doing it myself. It's also the way to heal the planet, and the way to stop a whole lot of horrific treatment of animals for their meat, and also even worse, I think, for dairy. I think the dairy industry is so
It's hideous.
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 Yeah. And I always tell people, if I were a cow, people who eat cheese and don't eat meat, for example, and they're just proud of themselves. If I were a cow, I'd much prefer you kill me and eat me
Yeah.
than to
And take
repeatedly rape me and take my babies and take my milk and pump
it's
me with
hideous.
antibiotics
It's
and
hideous. It's hideous.
hideous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the word.
Yeah. Well, I do wanna get back to you because I think your story is amazing, and I wanna learn I have some more questions, but I wanna just interrupt for 1 minute because I wanna make sure that anybody who's joining us now can is finding out why we're doing this, having this conversation in the first place. Both Joy and I are participating in the Vegan Health Bundle, and it just launched today, March 1st, this morning. So that's when we're recording this, March 1st. And it goes through March 10th, and it's only available for these 10 days. Once it's done, it's done. And the organizers are really clear. Like at, at 11:59 it's still available, and when the clock strikes midnight on the 10th, it's done, it's over. So this bundle is amazing. There's over 150 contributors, people who have shared their ebooks, shared their classes, the cooking classes. I shared three cooking classes in there, which have tons of recipes. And Joya has an ebook, and we're going to talk about that in a second. There's exercise classes, cooking classes, classes on sustainability, vegan sustainability. It's just really an amazing conglomerate of items that have been shared into the bundle. And it's the value of it is over $8,000. If you were to purchase each one of these classes and books, blah 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 blah, it's $8,000 is the value, but it's only $49. That's what they've made it available for. So we're highly recommending, because Joya and I are both familiar with what's in this bundle. We're highly recommending that people check it out, and if it's for you, grab it, because it's only available for 10 days, and you're going to kick yourself, I think, at the end of the 10 days if
I
you don't
think
grab it.
so.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
Okay. I
Go ahead.
wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite things in it, but maybe we can do that
Go,
later.
go
But
share some of your
well,
favorite things in the
so
bundle.
it's worth $49. I mean, it costs $49,
Yeah.
but worth 8,000. So your three classes, what, $177 or
Yeah.
147?
Exactly.
So that's three times the value already
Exactly.
by itself. If you only read that, get those, that's fine. You're ahead of the game. And then my book, The Easy Breezy Eights, but that's a mini book. But my favorite thing, I ran into this woman I hadn't seen before. She's been whole food plant based for 10 years. Her name is Raquel Brown, and
Okay.
she wrote a book called For Fork's Sake, which is really quick and easy. It's three times as long as mine, because I wrote it to be quick and easy, super quick and easy. Mine's 50 pages, hers is like 150, 170 pages, but really great tips for families
Oh,
for
good.
real life, how to adopt this lifestyle in 10 days essentially. But my favorite part of that book, which is so far my favorite thing in the bundle, is she created an acronym, happy, that I've been sharing with people. It stands for, as opposed to SAD, which is standard American diet, happy is healthy and plant powered. Yay. So I
Yay.
love that.
I love that
Yay.
too. And I love that it's
Yes.
the opposite of the standard American diet, which is
Yes,
sad.
yes,
So
yes, yes. So I'm
that's a
so
good
happy to
share.
be happy and so happy to know to be happy and happy to spread the word and hope to make other people happy too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you. A couple of things I just want to point out, because I was thinking about it as you were speaking. Like butter was like the really hard thing for you to get over, and it's interesting that everybody has like their thing. For some people, it's cheese. For some people, it's meat. Like they don't want to give up meat. Um, and it's just interesting. I found to find out what people have issues with. Get that they think that they're giving up. And but one of the things that makes me laugh is that our society was indoctrinated over the past, I don't know if it's 10 or 20 years, to have your high protein, like your meat on the plate, and eat vegetables. If you wanted to have weight loss and to be healthy. So most of my friends who have nothing to do with eating plant-based, that's what, we go to dinner, they're like, oh, I don't want the carbs. Meanwhile, what we've learned is that when you're eating whole food, complex carbohydrates,
Yeah,
you can eat a fair amount of it. I mean, I know that there's elements of weighing food and not overeating, because if you eat too much of anything, it's going to be an issue.
yeah.
But when I say weighing food, like for you, for what you do, I do it differently. We'll talk about that in a little bit
Mm-hmm,
too.
mm-hmm,
But I was so excited when I went plant based and whole food plant based, because it's similar to yours. It's a little bit different, but similar to yours.
mm-hmm.
I could eat carbs. I make
Yeah,
I make sweet potato for a
yeah.
snack. I have potato and I have veggies on it, and I have a cashew based sauce on top of it, and it's
Yum.
so satisfying. It's a meal in itself, and I don't feel like I'm depriving myself.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and I want to get to your book in a second, both your books actually. One of the contributors that I love um, is Ellen's Healthy Kitchen, and her ebook is just oatmeal, different kind of oatmeal. Some are savory, some are
Wow.
overnight oats, and the one that I've been making this week is peanut butter and jelly oatmeal. Come on, who doesn't want peanut
Sounds
butter and
awesome.
jelly
Yes.
oatmeal? And she's this big
Wow.
too. Like this is how she eats. But when you
Yeah.
understand how to eat complex carbohydrates, you can eat these types of foods. And who misses meat? I don't miss meat. You know.
I don't. I don't. That's funny what you're saying about carbs, because when I was making the transition, when I found Planeful Kiki and read those books, I started reading everything I could find, and that's
Hmm.
actually built into the steps. I came up with 7 steps for people to opt out of the standard American
Okay.
diet,
And
and
that's in your
one of
first book,
them,
right?
yes, that's the
Right.
first book, The Easy
Okay.
Breezy Whole Foodie. Yeah. 7 steps to opt out of the standard American diet. So the first step is to learn what we're talking about and decide you're going to do it. You just decide. My one of my spiritual teachers talks about the word decision comes from a root that means to cut away.
Oh,
So you cut away all the other
that makes sense.
options. You decide this is what I'm going to do. Bam, I'm doing it.
Hmm.
And the second step is to clear the crap, get everything, pretty much everything out of your kitchen that's not a whole plant food, which
Hmm.
is everything for a lot of people. And then shop, get you some stuff. I have a short 6 item grocery list that you can start with. Oatmeal, vegetables, fresh and frozen, fruit, fresh and frozen, potatoes, beans. Um, I think that might be it. That's not 6, but something like that. That's all you need to get
Hmm.
started.
Yeah.
But one of the steps, I think it's the 6th, is to savor the magic. And
Mm.
I meant that. And what I did during my transition, I stopped with the sad food immediately, but it's still a transitional process where you
Yeah.
kind of have to embody this and make it into your way of life.
Hmm.
And it involves reading a lot of books and watching a lot of documentaries and watching a lot of YouTubers and reading a lot of
Hmm.
blogs and just absorbing all the information I could find. And that was as meaningful to me as the food I was putting into my body. So I think the food you eat is only half the battle. The other thing is what you're feeding your mind and feed what media you're consuming. If you're watching pizza commercials all day long, that's going to make it harder for you. But if you're discovering delicious things like peanut butter and jelly oatmeal and whole books full of oatmeal
Yes.
deliciousness, that's a wonderful thing. So when I was doing that thing, you were talking about the carbs, there was a woman, I can't remember who she was. I was listening to a lot of interviews, and she said, when she found this lifestyle, she said she welcomed bread back into her life like an old friend.
And I
It's
get
like me
that.
too. I
I
got
get
it
that.
too.
You
Yeah,
know, and
like come
again,
on
we're not
back,
eating a
old
whole
friend.
loaf of bread. We're eating
Right.
whole grain bread that has
Yes.
nutrition in it. But
Yes.
but this way you say, I'm eating bread. I get to
Yes.
eat bread.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
It's wonderful. It is
it's really
wonderful.
quite amazing
And
that
surprising. I think a lot of things about this lifestyle are surprising, but people who are on the fence and thinking, "Oh, I don't think I could do this." Yeah, you'll be surprised how
yeah.
happy you'll be to eat carbs. Our bodies need carbs. They run on carb, as Dr.
That's
McDougall says.
mhm,
They can be tricked into running on ketones or
not
protein from your
sustainable.
muscles
Mhm,
for a short time, but it's not
mhm.
going to be happy. It's not going to be healthy. It's not
No,
going to bode well for your long-term success health-wise.
I know.
I like to think of it in terms of what Dr. Joel Furman calls nutritional excellence.
Nutritional
So I
excellence.
want
I
an
like
A
that.
plus in my food. I'm not messing around in the C, D, F zones, which
That's
is
so great. I love that you're grading it. Okay, I'm probably like a B plus.
okay. That's great. And you look beautiful and healthy, and you're
No,
helping other
it's
people
great.
escape.
It's great.
Yeah,
It's great.
that
It's
is
just if
great.
I just know how you eat, and if you're in the A
Yeah,
plus category, I mean,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
clean as a whistle. You
I
okay?
am.
And I want to get to that because I think it's
Yeah.
really important. So in your first book, you talk about the 7 steps how to become a whole easy breezy whole foodie. But
Hmm.
the book that you shared in the bundle, I read
Yes.
it, and you're right, it's very
Thank
short.
you.
And you created it because you travel a lot too, and
Yes.
so you've become this, you know, whole food plant based person. which is one thing to be able to shop in your local market, but now you're in Europe traveling with your dad's band because you manage your dad's band, and they're on the road, they're eating food on the road, and you're like, "I'm not having that." So what do you do instead?
So I have a grocery bag, a very sturdy grocery bag. I take it to grocery stores. So when people are looking for restaurants for food, I'm looking for a grocery store or a health food store. And I go there and I get whole foods. I get a bunch of greens, a bag of arugula, an onion, a potato, a carrot, maybe a couple pieces of fruit. I already have in my bag, in my suitcase, the tools. So the Easy Breezy eights, there's 8 whole foods and 8 travel tools.
Okay.
So I have a little steamer, a little collapsible steamer that's
I
really
didn't even
handy.
know that there was something like that in this world, so who knew?
I didn't either. How did I find it? I don't even remember how I found it. But I found it on Amazon. I guess I don't know. Wow, that's funny. I didn't know it was either, and I can't remember how I came to know that there was. But it was a great discovery, and I'm so happy that I do. So I have that steamer, and I think it was probably my desire to not eat salad all the time. I think people feel like if they're going to be vegan, they're going to have to eat salad all the time, and that's going to be unsatisfying and unhappy making. But it's not the case, first of all. And even when I'm on the road, I can steam vegetables. So I'm eating a combination of salad vegetables and steamed vegetables, and I'm satisfied. And potatoes, healthy complex carbs, and legumes, tofu and beans for protein. And I'm intentional about getting enough protein too, because I think that that keeps me satisfied.
Yeah,
And when you say clean as a whistle, the reason I like to keep my diet clean as a whistle is because it's easiest that way.
yeah,
Because I find as soon as I start dabbling in lower realms of food, then I want to keep doing that. That it reawakens the desire for what I grew up eating and what everyone around me is eating and what I trained my brain into loving. And now I'm retraining it. And I'm so glad to know how neuroplastic it is. And I think I saw some inclusions in the bundle that talked about that, how to change your brain. You rewire your brain so that you're not addicted to butter anymore
yeah.
and that you can enjoy other
And
things.
you spoke about that earlier that, you one of the first, I think it was the rice diet, trained you to not want the salt and the sugar and the oils anymore, right? And
Hmm.
and it's true because I don't cook with oil, but I will
Hmm.
eat it out in a restaurant.
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
do it very often, but I'm
Hmm.
so sensitive to it now. Like, I
Yeah.
taste it and I'm aware of it, and I never used to be.
Yeah. You
And
can see it. A lot of food, you can
see
see
it.
it shining
You
on
can
food. When food
see
is
it.
really glistening, it's usually because there's a lot of oil in it.
You can see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so you do become very sensitive to it, even though I still eat some.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanna remark on something here because you started out on a health journey. You started really to
Hmm.
lose weight because
Yeah.
you had gotten to a point where you it was unsustainable, really. And you regained your health as you released all that weight.
Hmm.
I came to eating plant-based from a totally different reason. I
Yeah.
never had a health issue or a weight issue. I
Hmm.
came originally for the animals. And went vegan first, and I wasn't a particularly healthy vegan. I wasn't such an unhealthy vegan, but I didn't know how to cook anything vegan. And then I learned how to cook vegan, and then I attended the plant-based nutrition class at Cornell, and I learned that I could take the vegan cooking that I learned how to do and make it healthy vegan, which is where I am. And so now that's what I do is I teach people how to prepare dinners and things that the whole family's gonna wanna eat. Not that your whole family's
Hmm.
not gonna wanna eat what you're preparing, but
Yeah.
it's not as common, right?
Right. Right.
For
Yeah.
families to at least in our culture. Because if
Hmm.
you look at the blue zones, they're eating stews and legumes and fresh vegetables and steamed, and fruits and stuff like that. So they're eating much cleaner than we are
Yeah.
in the blue zones. But my point of sharing the story is that I came for the animals and found the health. You came for the health and found the animals, and
Yeah.
yet here we are. Here we are
together.
together and
Yes.
on the same page of understanding the benefits of a whole food plant-based diet, to how amazing it is or how it potentially can be make the difference between climate disaster and potentially having an environment for future generations. And, for the animals and for our human health, it's a no-brainer. We got here different ways, but we're both here. And we
Yes.
actually met through Vegan Toastmasters.
Yes. Yes. I'm
And
so excited about that. Thank you for helping. You're the president, so you're
oh,
partially responsible for that platform being there for me to find it a
oh,
couple of
well,
months ago. I'm
you're
so
an amazing
grateful.
member, and I'm so glad that you're there, and actually, we meet the 1st and 3rd Sunday, so if anybody's interested, check us out on Meetup, and I think you can find us on Facebook,
Yeah.
or you can reach out to Joya or me if you're interested in doing
Yeah.
Toastmasters. But I just wanna get back, before we conclude, to ask you, is there anything, you know I wanna talk about your coaching real quick. Talk about how
Yeah.
you help your clients, because I'm also a coach. I help teach people
Yeah.
how to cook the type of meals
Yes.
that we cook.
Yes.
You do a completely different kind of coaching. Could you spend a
I
minute
do.
just explaining
Yeah.
what kind of coaching you do?
Yeah, I call the coaching program the 90-day obesity fix
Okay.
because it's 90 days of clean as a whistle eating, the complete abstinence from sad food. So it's a addiction recovery program essentially that takes all the sugar, oil, and salt out, all the animals out immediately. And then after 90 days, your taste buds change. After 14 days, your taste buds are all new. So if I had butter loving taste buds on December 9th, 29th, 31st, 2019, by January 1st, January 14th, I had all new taste buds.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's exciting to know. But in 90 days, your brain neuroadapts is the word they use in the pleasure trap. And what really was meaningful to me in the book, there's a chart that shows how you start out with a normal pleasure zone with your food,
Mhm.
and then you start eating highly processed food and pleasure goes way high and you're like, oh wow, Domino's pizza, oh
Yeah.
this is it's as good as it gets. Yeah, like you're ramped up, your dopamine levels get really
Yeah.
artificially high, and then you keep eating that and you develop a tolerance. So you get
Yep.
back to a normal pleasure zone. So food that seemed out of this world, excitingly wonderful, now seems normal. So then when you stop eating that, you start eating whole food. As you would expect, the pleasure goes low. You dip into this, oh,
Oh,
woe
this
is
is
me, life is
boring. Yeah.
hard. No,
Yeah.
yeah, no butter. I
Mhm.
might rather die. But then your brain heals, and within 90 days, you get back to a normal pleasure zone, and you can get a normal amount of pleasure from healthy whole foods. So that 90 days, I coach people through and then offer them a plan to continue an accelerated weight loss plan for after day 91 until they reach their goal. But that's been really exciting and really gratifying for me to be able to share with people.
Yeah, and I'll just share a quick personal story that involves the both of us.
Yes.
I started
Yes.
working with a client last year who I realized quickly that we weren't going to be a good fit. She had a lot of weight to lose and she was not interested in cooking. And I thought, I think Joya would be a better fit to coach her. And sure
Yes.
enough, I don't even know how long. The last I spoke with her, she said that she had dropped 50 pounds. And I haven't spoken to her in a few months. So I don't
Yeah.
know if she stuck with it. I don't know. But she said to me,
Yes.
"If I never eat oil again, I'm fine with that." Like, she got it. Like, I didn't have
Did.
the same skill set that you do to go that way. I'm coaching a completely different thing, but it
Yeah.
was so gratifying to me that you were able to help her.
Thank you. And I so appreciate you sending her my way. I was certified last year by the Plant Protocol
Yes,
coaching program. And um, we were told to find a specialty. So
yes,
my specialty is helping people reverse obesity. So she was right down my alley. And
perfect.
what I find, and this I found with my dad, who also was able to reverse his obesity with this way of eating, is that you have to get to a point where you're sick and tired of being
I'm
sick and
sick and
tired.
tired. Yeah.
And then you just let it go. That's the Fannie Lou Hamer quote. She was in Mississippi oppressed like Black people were and still are there, but really tired of it,
Mhm.
and decided she was just going to fight for voting rights, despite the fact she knew she would be beat up and banished and all the things that did happen to her. But she was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. So
Yeah.
when people do that with their weight, then they're prime candidates to come work with me, and I invite
Yeah,
everyone who meets that to come do so.
that's great. Well, before we go, I just want to really quickly, in the show notes, I will have a link to your website. So anybody who's interested in learning more about you, can learn
Yes,
about you. Your first
yes,
book is available on your website. Your
yes.
new book, eh, what did you name the new
As
book?
it's called the Easy Breezy Eights,
Okay.
and for these 10 days, it's available only in the vegan bundle, vegan
On
health bundle.
It's only available in the
Yeah.
Vegan Health Bundle, and it's really got all the tools. If you're traveling and you're doing this really healthy, whole food, plant-based eating, and you want to stick with it while you're traveling, Joya gives you all the steps how to do it in the book. It's really good. It's really helpful. Really laid out really nicely. And so before we go, I just want to remind everybody that this bundle that we've been mentioning, if you're just tuning in now, we are part of the Vegan Health Bundle. It launched today, March 1st. It goes through March 10th, and then it's going to be over. There's over 150 submissions. There's people who contributed cookbooks and ebooks and uh, exercise classes and recipes and cooking classes. And coupons. There's coupons to some of the things that you might want to eat too, and places you might want to go. And it's really amazing. I've been blown away by everything that I've been cooking and all the classes I've been taking and all the books that I've been reading inside the bundle. The value is over $8,000 and it's available for $49. So if you're even thinking about it, it's $49. Just get it. You
Yeah.
will find something in there that you say, okay, I'm glad I got this. And
Yes.
I'm even saying to my non-vegan friends, you eat oatmeal, right? So just get it for the oatmeal book alone.
Yeah. 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 Really, it is valuable for every. There's a 3-minute therapy book that I read that was very helpful for any kind of eater. So
That's great.
there's psychological stuff and exercise stuff, like you said. Yeah, it would be really useful to any vegan or non-vegan.
Great. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to share before we say goodbye?
No, I think I'm done. Just thank you again for you and your work and keeping this platform available and helping people learn how to cook delicious food and fit in society still, despite the fact that they're vegan and whole foods.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And this conversation could just go on and on and on. I love talking to
Yeah.
you, and there's so much to share from both of us. And maybe someday we'll get to do it again.
Yes, ma'am. I hope so. But I'll see you Sunday at Vegan Toastmasters, and hopefully people will join us.
That sounds great. All right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Joya.
Thank you.